Jump off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome. You're tuned into Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on NBC News, CNBC News, and NBC Sports Radio station KCAA, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, TuneIn, Audible, Amazon Music, Tiki Live, Rumble, Podchaser, Streaker, Speaker, you name it, I'm there. Why? Because for the last 637 consecutive weeks, I want to balance out all the bad news out there with some good news, topics that matter, because I want you to tune into your own reality show and not that of any K words, Kanye talk at all. And I'm also not going to be talking about what everybody else talks about in the news, because as I was mentioning to someone in the travel group that is on WeChat since my last, thank you for that finger, for the affirmation, not that finger, but this finger, to whoever just did that. I want to talk about what's right with people, what's good, things that matter to you, how you can be happy 88% of the time. So I'm really glad that they said I wouldn't last a year, and it's been over 12. So go figure. There are people who don't want to spend the entire day talking about the shooting or all of that. We're going to talk about that topic actually today, not that topic, but change and trying to change people's minds, changing your own mind. Dealing with change. So if you have any thoughts or questions on that, it is Monday, where I focus on specific tools that you can use to be responsible for your own mental health. So that's what today's topic is. If you would like to actually chat and interact, that's very easy on Mondays. You just go to my YouTube TV channel, free subscribe, and you'll get an alert every weekday morning. I'm your morning host producer for this show, that you can join in and chat and get on camera even if you would like. Those who are wanting some free coaching, free happiness coaching, let me know, and we'll actually do a treatment on the air on Mondays. Also, for those wonderful people who are not just free subscribe, but have paid $2.99 a month, you today have me for an extra hour. Should you want to ask me any questions to do with anything, really, mental health, or how to start a podcast, how to write a best-selling book, how to do relationship coaching. And those of you who know I'm not in a relationship, the name of the show is Take My Advice. I'm not using it, so I can still be of service that way. But I start every show now, and I'm going to do it with myself as well. I do it with my guests. Tomorrow we have a guest, Tuesday talent, Wednesdays co-host, Doctors in the House with Dr. Tiffany Tate. Thursdays is Story Talk with James Hawthorne, who's an actor and fitness guru. And then Friday, it's Hollywood Rebel Report with Ricky Rebel, very well-known singer, songwriter, dancer who toured with Britney Spears. So all week, you get other people. Today, you get me. And as people know, I am very shy, very reticent, have nothing to say. And sarcasm is another service that I offer. But I'm glad you're here. But let's start with breakfast. What is breakfast? Take a bite of my gratitude sandwich. So if you are in a bad mood already because you have watched other news, tune in here at 9, right after the NBC News. We start with, what are you grateful for? And please play along in the chat. I am grateful that my BFF Anne-Marie had a great birthday party on Saturday and got a lot of love. I'm grateful that I love putting little videos together, and I did of one-word adjectives that best describe her, and there was a lot of those. I'm grateful that I tried something new yesterday. I've never done sand sculpting, and so I am hurting right now because I use muscles I never knew I had, but I love trying new things. And no, unfortunately, I did not win, which really is not good. I'm a very good winner, but I won in the sense that I tried something new. I studied YouTube videos on how to do sand sculpting for a couple of hours, and it is way harder than it looks. I did the minions. If you haven't been on my social, it's Doc Balance. You can look there. And I thought they were pretty good. All the people who didn't think I could do it thought it was pretty good, but unfortunately, I didn't win. And we have words about that, but we won't do that. But I am grateful that I am now, I know I can make minions in the sand. And I'm going to go to the bottom of the button so that we equal 8. The bottom of the button is a little bit different. It's gratitude turned out inwards. Gratitude, the top of the button is things I'm grateful for that are outside of myself, people, places, and things. And then this is, I think, the most important thing is our ability to self-care, self-soothe, like talk ourselves off of the ceiling, our ability to be the best that we can be the ability to like who we are is tantamount to good mental health. So I do this every day, not just Mental Health Matters Mondays, but I really, really want you to begin to like who you are. Not all the time, but 88% of the time. And why all these 8s? Well, I know you thought I was Swedish, but I'm actually Chinese, and 8 is a lucky number in Chinese. It's a homophone for good fortune. So that's why I say 8 and 88 all the time. And 8 things. So the 4 things that I'm going to talk about right now are things that I like about myself. And when I can be really good at that, then I'm less tempted to keep asking other people, do you like me? Or is that okay with you? Or am I okay? And now we're walking around with antenna with social media, like literally like how many people like me and all that hog baloney called numbers that people know that I'm not, I don't measure my worth. And if you do measure my worth by numbers, then I guess I'm not the person for you. I don't buy numbers. I don't want to buy numbers. I know a lot of people who do buy numbers, and it's just, it's not useful for me. And so I firmly stick to the, if you build it, they will come. And the fact that I do have quite a few people who have been with me for a long time. And I so do appreciate you, whether you are live now or listening later. So anyways, so I appreciate that I have the tenacity to continue to do this for such a long time. And this is show 1186. I was doing podcast shows before they called it podcasts. I appreciate that I have the ability to put things in perspective. When I was talking to the travel writer on WeChat, I said, they were saying there's some videos about YouTubers going to China, and the headline is "We were shocked," and I still don't know what they're shocked about, but the fact that that seems to take off as a title is we have a tendency to, I mentioned before, if it bleeds, it leads. So, if something is horrific, we are drawn to it like moths to a flame that ends up killing us because we are so I am drama, therefore I am. And you know, lots is happening right now to fuel your drama. But we'll talk about that too. When you get stressed from change or forcing change or trying to make other people change, it's bad for your health, mental, physical, and spiritual. So, I know how to, you know, just say, that's interesting. There's a tool. I appreciate my ability to be loving 88% of the time. This is, we have to name him. Just brought him back from China. And I appreciate that I employ the gospel according to Nike, which is even when I don't feel like doing things, I say, just do it. And I finish it because I do know that there are things that in life, most of the things I love to do, some of the things I don't, but those are the things that sometimes make a really a big difference, you know, for opportunities. If you don't put yourself out there, if you don't call or write or, you know, work on whatever it is that's promoting you, then nothing can happen. So those are the things at the top and the bottom of my breakfast sandwich, my gratitude sandwich. Thanks for joining me. Hopefully you have started your day already with some gratitudes and appreciations. And I promise you, if you do this good life habit, or as my big brother says, #Blisscipline, you will have the most amazing day every single day because you sandwiched it in the most positive way. Thanks for joining me for breakfast. Alrighty, topic for today. Cha-cha-cha-cha, na-na-na-na-na. Forget who sings that or what that song is, but it is Monday. I was going to do rainy days and Mondays, but it's not raining out. So obviously I feel like singing today. I wanted to talk about change. It's funny. I actually really wanted to talk about something that happened to me as far as asking for what I want, asking for what I need. Some of you may think that I have no problem doing that. And in some and most settings, I don't. But on a personal side, specifically romantically, I do. I'm reticent to ask for what I want. And that is, I know that it stems out of what happened to me when I was a kid, being called fat and ugly, marrying someone who also thought that. So I guess we could categorize that in change. I'm changing that. I'm trying to change that. So if that is something that you want to talk about too, you can. But we are going to talk about changing someone's minds because that's a question that came in. And what came in was, and they didn't want to come on the air, and I didn't really want to address this topic in particular, but we all know what happened as far as the bullet. And we all know that we in America are undergoing this unprecedented difference of opinion that in the past we could agree to disagree and still allow different parties to exist. And, you know, we knew that not everyone was going to agree with us, but it was okay. That's what we have voting for. That's why we're a democratic country. That's why I made a decision to become American after 9/11. I gave up my Canadian citizenship. But it does appear right now that you cannot tolerate, I cannot tolerate anyone who is of a different mind. And so much energy is spent during the day in our minds, at home, at school, at work, in line at the grocery store, trying to change someone's mind about what their BS, their belief system is with respect to opinions or truth that they believe about either the Democrat or Republicans, about the presidential candidates, about, who, even beyond that, it's like this intolerance for anyone who has a different set of BS belief systems than they do. So I thought we would spend a little time not talking about, although some of the comments that I see, I usually try not to read too much in social media. I'm a giver. I post and I, invite you, but I try not to get involved in reading other posts, especially those who I don't agree with, and get into their comment section and start writing a rebuttal or what about this and trying to change their mind. To me, it's a very a useless use of my time. And so I don't do it, but I do know that this is something that people are getting worse, not better. And so I wanted to talk about that so we could look at the cost of trying to get someone to change their mind. All right. So that's the topic for today. I'll be right back in 2 and 2 for more on Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It. Get Balance with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind. And I am also streaming right now from Facebook, LinkedIn, and my YouTube TV channel that houses all 1,186 shows. We'll be right back. Don't go away. 2 and 2.
Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And we're back. You're tuned into Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It. Get Balance with Dr. Marissa. And it's Monday, so we are talking about hashtag Mental Health Matters Mondays. And in particular, how do you manage your life so you're happy 88% of the time with respect to change? So we'll just hit the one I left with head on, which is when you try to change someone's mind. And I'll be specific to social media. I'll be specific to what's going on right now. I'll be specific to the downward spiral that I see happening with people who are so identified with their BS, their belief systems, that they will do themselves harm in order to make their point. Sound familiar? So those of you who don't already know, and if you don't, believe me, when you get dramatic, when you start getting hot under the collar, when you start feeling your blood pressure go up, when you start feeling angry, when you start feeling like you could do someone harm because they are not acquiescing to your point of view, and this happens probably every half a second. If you look at social media, anything to do with the shooting, anything to do with the presidential a race that's going on, anything to do with party lines, anything to do with it's really, it seems to be boiling down to that. Like, you take any topic, and whether you perceive it to be something that the right or the left has strong feelings on, it's on. like you're going to fight someone verbally. You're going to, even if you're a nice person and you explain, sort of your thinking around why you think it should, our country should be, valuing diversity, or it common sense and logic go out the window. And I'm speaking to people who think like I do too. I'm not going to try to change anyone's mind except my own. And Peter Senge, I use this when I speak as an organizational psychologist. There's two circles, okay? So there's a circle of concern and there's a circle of influence. So the circle of concern is things that you care about, that you're concerned about, it matters to you. So what is in that circle of concern? Your health, your money, your friends, your family, your professional goals, your personal goals, your vacation. All of those are your concern. Your parents, all of those matter to you. So they are inside your circle of concern. Things that are outside of your circle of concern, I don't know, if you're not interested in the Olympics, which I am, I can't wait. You don't watch it, it's out of your concern. You are not concerned about the price of pig's feet because that's not what you have invested in. So I'm just giving you like an example of what things go outside of the circle of concern and what things go inside. So I just listed all those things that I'm concerned about, and they're inside my circle of concern. Inside of that circle is another circle called the circle of influence. So do you have influence over your career? Yes. In many ways, I can go study and get a degree in it. I can volunteer or be an apprentice and do things for my career. I can do the requisite itemized things that I need to do to get a certificate or any of those things. I do have some influence over. But do I have full and complete control over my career and those who are deciding maybe if I get promoted? No. So am I influential in my children? Yes, in the sense that I am responsible when they're young to, provide food and housing and clothing and a shoulder to cry on. And I can influence to some extent their decisions, but the older they get, you can't. And even when they're young, you don't have full and complete influence over them. Yeah? Do I see some head nods out there with the eyeballs? I think so. So what is the only thing that I have 100% control over? Well, it's me, right? And the choices I make when, or the belief systems that I choose to believe, the actions that I choose to take, the only person I have complete concern and influence over is me. So keep that in mind when you are thinking about someone else and the way they are looking at things, and you want to change their mind. I would suggest that you start with changing your own BS belief system that you can change their mind. Why do I want to do that? Because if you argue against someone to have them change their mind, you are immediately subjecting yourself to some physical harm, not because they're going to hurt you, although they might. It's unfortunate. I even saw a fight break out in a karaoke setting, a fight with older people, like senior citizens gathered there to sing karaoke, and they got in a fight. It was unbelievable. So what happens when you begin to argue is you activate, right, all the adrenaline, all the feelings of heightened engagement. And that's not bad, except that if it continues, what is that just statistic? You lose 20 IQ points every, I better look that up. IQ points every so many seconds that you are angry. IQ drop in anger. We'll take a look at that so I have that accurate. And that is definitely a concern. You don't want to be stupid and you don't want to apologize. So here's a not an argument, but here is proof that you do not want to. According to an article called "Where Did My IQ Points Go?" in Psychology Today, when we get angry, the light goes out in the prefrontal cortex, which is the executive functioning and decision-making region of the brain. It is like we're operating with 10 to 15 less IQ points when we are angry. So do you want to engage in continued anger? Now, if someone says something and pisses you off, by all means, get angry. That's normal. You shouldn't be going, oh, yay. I try to keep my face neutral because I don't want to continue that interaction. And we're not talking, well, let's talk about that. I'm going to say we're not talking about people close to us, but I am talking about people close to us. I don't know how relationships work these days when people are in two different parties or they want two different presidents to win. And it's, I don't know how they do it, but maybe they just don't talk about it. But I do know that in my dating, that those of you know I'm doing, no thanks to Ranella, one of my co-hosts who continues to insist that I continue the dating, even though I've had 12 first dates and no second dates. And my swiping fingers getting tired. But I do put on there, what my red flags are. And one of them is I don't want anybody who is MAGA because I just don't want to fight. I don't want to fight at home because I'm not going to be able to a stranger, if that's what you want to believe in. I disagree with you, but I'm not going to. Here's the happy 88 tip. I am not going to sacrifice my health and my IQ to engage with you. And for those of you who just, I don't know, is it I am drama, therefore I am? Why do we continue to argue and or engage with people who are never going to change their mind on this particular thing? Wouldn't it be amazing if we took all that energy that we spend online or in conversations, arguing, hating, even, and I'm going to get tough love here, even if you and a friend are of like mind, how much time are you going to spend with that person bad-mouthing the other side? So this is advanced. I mean, this is called time is a non-renewable energy. Therefore, once it's gone, you don't get it back. So I'm going to ask all of you, the time that you spend engaging in trying to change someone's mind in something that they're never really going to change, is that useful? So that is that is my that is my happy 88 challenge to you today. If you're trying to change someone's mind, is it really worth losing that time that you could be out, on a walk or out having fun or playing mahjong or sailboat racing or going to the beach or something, just if you really want to, let's see, give yourself some data this week. Don't change anything, but write down how much time goes into trying to change someone's mind. Just write it down every single day. And that's the time. It's kind of like when people quit smoking, they put money that they saved on a pack of cigarettes in a piggy jar, or when I stopped drinking, the money I would have spent, all that, and it accumulates. That's the amount of money you've saved. I'm talking about a non-renewable energy that you've already wasted arguing with someone, trying to change their mind. You're not going to get that back. But if you spent, let's say, 8 hours in the entirety of last week or this week, when you measure, that's 8 hours you're going to lose again next week if you don't make some changes. Does that make sense? Okay, good. Because when we come back, I am going to show you something that you can anchor, a tool that you can use to anchor and stop yourself from arguing with someone to change their mind. We'll be back in 2 and 2. Don't go away. We're going to thank the sponsor for today's show.
Welcome to Balanced Tai Chi Gong. My name is Dr. Marissa Pei. For the next 28 minutes, we will be slow dancing with the universe in a moving meditation that promotes inner peace, one breath at a time. Just follow the sound of my voice and move with me as I guide you through this ancient wisdom through new thought practice. As a corporate psychologist, I created this practice in response to my life and those of my clients. We were professional, high achievement-oriented, multitasking control freaks and exhausted. No matter how many successes, it was never enough. That, coupled with a painful life experience, led me on a quest to find another way to live and back to my Chinese roots. If you practice regularly, I can promise you that it will impact all health vortexes. Body, mind, spirit, soul. You will be in a place of balance and inner peace the way we were created. 谢谢.
Be my partner, dance with me.
Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pei.
And we're back. You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm Not Using It. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, NBC News Radio, home to the Asian Oprah, #1 talk in the IE, and on AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and my YouTube TV channel, which houses all of my 1,186 podcast shows, but who's counting? And I am delighted to also say that now I am not only free subscribing on YouTube, I have a little paid subscription. $2.99 will get you the at a time of happiness coaching, if you'd like it, every Monday after the show, and it is Monday. So if you would like that, just go to my YouTube channel, free subscribe, $2.99. And if you subscribe with the $4.99 option, it is a signed copy of my book, 8 Ways to Happiness, wherever you are. Every month there's a different giveaway that you can get from my shop. And if you want to see what those things are, just go to drmarissa.life and you'll get the menu there. And because it is Monday, it is Mental Health Matters Mondays, anyone who would like to be happier than they actually are right now gets a free audiobook copy of this book, 8 Ways to Happiness, from wherever you are. And the great news is, as you can see, it's a #1 bestseller on Amazon, as well as a national bestseller. So we're very excited about that. I sold out when I was on tour in Australia, as well as China, where I just returned from. So what are we talking about today? We are talking about changing your mind. Changing your mind. And I'm on a different computer than I thought I was to do the show. So I'm going to just see if I'm going to be able to pull this up. Because let's see. I do believe that I could, let's try this one. There's a picture that I want you to see that should help you when it comes to not arguing with someone who not arguing with someone who disagrees with you. Okay, here we go. This is from the presentation I just did in China at Shanghai University. And okay, you see it? And those of you who took psychology in school will say, yeah, I remember this. What do you see? An old woman or a young woman? If you are watching right now and you'd like to guess, please do put it in the chat. And this time when I presented this, out of probably, I don't know, hundreds of people, I would say 80% of them saw the young woman. And 20% saw the old woman. I would say 30% of the audience saw both. So I'm going to treat you as if you are like that audience. And those of you who saw the young woman who sort of turned her eyes towards into the screen. So you're seeing the profile angle here. This is her chin. These are eyes. This is her hair. This is her like collar of what she's wearing. Okay, so there's the young woman. Do you see her? Oh, this is her headpiece. Okay, and raise your hand if you see the young woman. That's what I do when I present, but I can't see you raising hands. So I'm just going to assume that you saw the young woman. All right. Then I want you to look at this and say, the old woman, where's the old woman? So the old woman is required that you kind of take a step back. And this is a tool that I use when you start getting in arguments. Instead of engaging, I want you to step back and take an 88,000% look. 88,000 foot look at the situation, at the topic, at the person. And when you do that, you'll be able to see the old woman where her face is this whole thing. So her chin is here, her mouth is here, which was formerly a choker of the young woman. And this is also her headdress, but this is her big nose, right? That's still her eye, but this is her big nose. There's her other eye. That was the earring for the young woman. All right. And you're going to say, I still don't see it. Well, you'll have to come to one of my speeches, but or you can stay afterwards, get the $2.99 option on my YouTube channel, and I'll show it to you again. But why do I use this in my presentations? It's because this so clearly for me demonstrates that the same data, the very same data, right? This is the same picture, can give rise to two completely different realities. Completely different realities. If you're in an argument with someone and you are arguing the young woman and you know you see that young woman and it's plain as black and white, literally, and you know that you are right, I want you to remember that with that same data, some other person could see exactly something completely different, which is the older woman. Now, some of my executives who do this don't like it when I say you see what you want to see, but I digress. I want you to use this as an example of how that person is so locked in and they will never see the way you want them to see. And it has to be okay, unless you want to subject yourself to lower IQ points. And the other consequence, which I wanted to bring up, which is, and I'll just do it for you here, when you're arguing with anyone and trying to change their mind, you're going to get into a thing called, what does agitation do to your physical health? So what does agitation, frustration, which are normal when you get into arguments with people, prolonged stress. Okay, if you continue to be angry, hold that thought in the foremost front of your mind. You call someone about it. You continue to write in the chat about it. You continue to respond when someone responds to you. This is what's going to happen. So you know that I'm going to my assistant Google. Stress that's not dealt with can lead to many health problems such as high blood pressure, heart disease, stroke, obesity, and diabetes. There's more, but we'll just go with that. Do you want to choose an activity like commenting on someone who completely disagrees with you and getting into an argument in person, online, wherever you are? Do you want to choose high blood pressure, heart disease, stroke, obesity, and diabetes? Do you want it? I don't know many people who would actually say yes. I'm not going to call you stupid, but let's see. Hopefully I just shared that other thing, but I read it to you. So that is literally the tool to use anytime you try to change someone's mind is, do I want to risk my health to continue down this line of interaction? That's it. Do I really want to do this? I already gave the argument about time wasted, which you don't get back. That's one. Two is, do you want to hurt your health? It's not that simple, Dr. Marissa. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It is so simple. It's not easy, but it's so simple to make a decision to care for yourself more than you care to change that person's mind. But Dr. Marissa, it's the principle. It shows person's character if they disagree with me on this. And I can't believe people are following someone who's so blatantly sexist and so blatantly racist. And I don't understand, and it's not right, and they need to change. And I can't believe that. even if I agree with you, which I do, I'm not going to hurt my health to actually even stay here arguing with you about how wrong it is. It's not helpful. It is not useful of my time. What am I going to do instead? Am I going to put my head in a hole and just pretend it doesn't exist? Sometimes, if that's the healthier solution. But there is a really good win-win. And every time I decide not to get myself involved in that conversation, in that fight, in that disagreement, I have a choice of time to do other things. It's not that I don't have an opinion about it, but I'm going to choose to know that I can vote on that. There are things that I can do with that opinion, but arguing for it to try to change someone's mind when everybody is so passionately not open to change, then I am not going to go there. I'm just not. Unless you pay me, maybe I'll think about it. It's the same treatment that I do about giving someone advice. I just don't do it unless I get paid. Or I'm on my show where I am paid to give my advice. And by the way, we'll do the disclaimer. I am not an MD. I'm not a clinical psychologist. I'm an organizational psychologist. So I am not giving you anything. I'm not prescribing anything that's going to give you side effects either on purpose. I am prescribing some Happy 88 tools to help you make choices that make you happier and don't hurt your health. Am I trying to change you? No, I'm making suggestions. Whether you want to change is up to you. But I do have a commitment on this show on Mondays to talk about things that we can control that will make us happier 88% of the time and help us be responsible for our own mental health. Okay? We'll be right back, taking a quick break. Don't go away. When we come back, I'll give you another tool to use on Mental Health Matter Mondays on how to stop trying to change and hurt yourself. We'll be right back.
Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome back. We're talking about change today. We're talking about not changing people's minds as a means of being happier in your own life. And you're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind, AM 1050, FM 106.5. And if you're here eyeballing me, and I do see eyeballs in the studio, thanks for coming in. Feel free to ask any questions or to give an opinion on why you should or should not try to change someone's mind. And I thought I would show you another tool that I use in my motivational talk as an organizational psychologist to help people manage their own happiness. And that is, I just gave you the old woman, young woman. Now I'm going to give you, I just about almost gave that away, but here is another, oops, do I have it? Maybe I don't. There's the circle of concern, circle of influence. Oh, maybe I don't. Okay. Well, you'll have to, unless I did it up here, you'll have to come back, or I'll see if I can figure out how to do this. I would like you to, now we're going to switch gears a bit. We've talked about changing people's minds as an activity that we don't want to do and waste our time to do. The other one is, how do we deal with change in our own lives that is stressful and still be happy 88% of the time? Why do I say 88, by the way, and not happy 100% of the time? You cannot be. If you're if you're happy 100% of the time, you're dead. So I don't want dead people walking or listening. I want 88%. It's contrast we need. However, it is my BS, my belief system, that many people, especially in America right now, when they get in arguments, they're not even close to a 50% happy. And that's what we're trying to change here. So how do we change in our own lives in a way that doesn't cause a ton of stress? And I'll speak to the top 3 stressors, according to research, is 1, death of a child, 2, I think it's divorce or the end of a relationship, and 3, the moving. So I remember going through all 3 of those, not the death of a child, but a death at the same time, and it was not pretty. But if you're someone right now going through a divorce, which is one of those very big changes that is stress invoking and producing and will continue to be as long as you are caught up in the drama of it. And so I'll speak to that one. The stress of a move, that is, no matter how nice the move is, it's a stress, because seeing all of your stuff in boxes and not knowing where anything is stress producing. And certainly death is stress producing of anybody, but in particular when there's tragedy, it is stress producing. So how can we be happier than we are when any change is going on in our lives? So one is the BS, the belief system that change shouldn't be happening. And it's amazing to me when people say, I must be being punished because so-and-so died, or I must be punished if, I'm a failure, if I'm going through a divorce, or there's something wrong with me if I got laid off. All of those are 3 big changes that the first and most important Happy 88 tool here is you've done nothing. Change is inevitable, right? That is the one thing you can count on in life, is change. So if you think that the life according to Cinderella is supposed to be the norm of your life, it isn't. It really isn't. It is life. Pain in life is mandatory. Suffering is optional. And because of the time, I'm going to leave off with that tool. It is so important that everybody just cut themselves some slack. And when they're going through change, you say, well, I guess this is one of those times where I get to do normal life. Change is happening, shift happens. And then the tool here is more will be revealed, or this too shall pass, or okie dokie. And when we cannot hook into the particulars and think that we're being punished, and look for the reason for the change. Why is this happening to me is one of the most not useful questions you can ask. So when you're going through change, whatever it is, please be kind enough to yourself to know that. Take that breath and say, more will be revealed. This too shall pass. And I promise you that you will feel better in that moment. If it means saying that 1,000 times a day, so be it. Because it will not always feel like it does now. Is that helpful? Hopefully. It's just one tool. If you'd like to stay longer for more, just go and subscribe at my YouTube channel, the $2.99, and I'll give you a link to come and join me right after this show. Well, hopefully that was helpful to you. Thank you for joining me. This is take my advice. I'm not using it. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show on KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind. I want you to join me tomorrow on Tuesday Talent. We have a great guest coming on. His name is William Keck, and he will be coming on to my studio to provide us with lots to cogitate on. And Wednesday is Doctors in the House with Dr. Tiffany Tate. Thursdays is Straight Talk, and Fridays is the Hollywood Rebel Report here on my show. Thanks for tuning in. Remember, it's all about balance. Peace in, peace out, world peace through inner peace. If you just tuned in now, go to my YouTube channel and get the show. And thank you for tuning in. Now go and have the best Monday ever. We'll see you tomorrow.